Hey everyone, it's Austin and welcome back to the channel. It's day 348 on my journey to 2000 where I'll be uploading a video every day until I make it there, so don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you're digging what I'm doing, and let's make something happen. After yesterday's win, we're at 1816. Got the white pieces against 1870 from Romania, I believe that is. I'm right. King's Indian defense. Is this Alex Banzea in disguise? King's Indian defense, orthodox variation. So against the orthodox variation, where I don't push the pawn and he goes back, the knight needs to stay here to defend this because I'm not going to push. So what's another move that I should do to improve my position? I consider h3, I consider rook e1. I think rook e1 is just the most natural. Most flexible. If he opens the e-file, the help on the e-file is certainly not going to be misplaced. And he does open things up. Okay. This pawn is looking a bit weak now. I'm thinking about a place, something I can do with this knight. If I go here, he has this. I think no matter what I do, he has that move, potentially. This move targets the pawn immediately. He can still step in with knight here. Bro, I am way too tired for this right now. You mean to tell me that I actually need to think? Stupid. So my knight is kind of well placed in the center. My bishop covers this square, so I think I can get away with bishop e3. Bishop e3, knight here. h3. And we just have like a normal position. I can consider queen d2 and rook ace ad1. Okay, he attacks that pawn. This move makes sense. Yeah, knight here, and I'm just brain dead. Alright. Let's go for this idea. Now knight here, I can play this. I don't really care about what you're doing on the queen side, bro. Centralize the other rook. Yeah, now he makes this move. I think makes a lot of sense. I think this move makes a lot of sense now too. Interesting. Yeah, I completely missed this idea. Alright. It's okay. I mean, like, it's part of the challenge that you have to play every day. I've just been in, like, kind of like a depressed mood all week. So I just feel like I have no energy to play chess. I haven't wanted to play chess at all. So, like, You can't be surprised when you play badly in that situation. Do you know what I'm saying? So let's win this pawn and try to trade queens. And just go into like a endgame where I'm slightly worse, I think. But we can try to finagle through the end game, perhaps. So knight takes. Knight takes is a fork, technically. Because it hits this and this. Here he goes here. I can do this. With this as an idea. That seems pretty good to me. I mean, do I really even want to take that pawn? That's another question. I think if I take that pawn, I'm kind of unleashing hell on myself, to be honest. Okay, but now he's gonna, like, let me take it with tempo on the rook, which feels very peculiar. I mean, my knight is defended, bro. I don't need to move my knight. And I can pin your knight and threaten e5. If I go here, what does he play? What does he play? You can't drop back to put more pressure on the piece. Oh, you can't drop back to put more pressure on the piece now. Oh, okay. So that's your plan. I suppose that's kind of valid. I think I'm gonna shut out your bishop, though. I don't think it would be wise to relieve all the pressure off of the position yet. But this knight is doing nothing, and it should do something. I'm thinking about this move. And then here, we can just take this, doubling pawns. But is that really any good? That pawn is still protected, brother. And now I'm getting in with checks. Do we not care? This feels very weird. If you go here, I can just... If you go... Bro, you're gonna help me get back? Like, this feels so weird. Now my heart's racing again. Ugh. So stupid. Hate my nerves. It's only because I have, like, a potentially better position that I'm, like, getting nervous. If he goes here, I might still just wait. He goes there. check. I mean, that pawn is protected. This isn't great because I'm opening the C file and he controls C1. It's not great. There can be a lot of pressure on this pawn now, potentially. But I think knight here and push to blockade. Where does the knight really want to go? I think it has to blockade. I think it has to blockade and it has to have access to C3. Yeah. Maybe this first. I can even just push first. Let's push first. No, this was bad. This was bad. He has king here. No, I'm throwing. Oh, wow. That's a nice move. I committed too much to this pawn. This is still not easy. This is still not easy, guys. No way, he takes? Wait, your rook is hanging. Wait, what? Alright, just don't F it up, you goddamn idiot. Just don't F it up. Let's bring the knight. Now we win that pawn. He's trying to flag me? Like, bro, I have a minute. Okay. That's so disrespectful. That's insane. I literally have a minute, bro. Like, what are you doing? You think I've never played a blitz game in my life, or what? I don't know. Maybe I'm being rude. Maybe he just wanted to play to checkmate or something, but so there was definitely some back and forth at the end. Apparently this is all book. Queen c2 being the best move here, that makes a lot of sense, reinforcing this square. I just don't think that we want to commit the dark squared bishop yet. Knight c5 makes so much sense. Bishop e3 now. Rook here accomplishes the same thing. Bishop e3. We're still defending the pawn twice. If he goes here now, we can just play f3. Queen e7, probably same thing. It wants bishop g5 here. Kind of removing an attacker of the pawn, but f3 I think is just more natural. So this was a miss because he has this move. And I still just let him play it. Wait, pause. What? Takes. You're getting mated? That is so funny. His best move is d5. Knight d6. Knight d6. d4. Queen takes d4. There's probably some knight discovery. Knight g4. Queen d2, protecting the bishop. Rook is still hanging. Everything's hanging. Knight takes, queen takes. Wait, queen takes isn't right? You have to take this. Because if queen takes, what does he have? a3. And you lose the knight. God, what a stupid ass position. Okay, whatever. Knight f5, best move. That's on me. That's on me. h3 made no sense, bro. I mean, I think this move, it says miss, but I think that's such a natural move. Oh my god, I hung this pawn, bro. Like, where is my brain? Like, where actually is my brain? I so badly wanted to prevent knight here, but it's like, that's not even a threat, bro. Like, yeah. Brain dead. So apparently this is +1, but I need to play rook takes. This is a mistake. There's no... Nah, that's stupid. That's actually stupid. King h2. Whatever. So yeah, he had a miss because apparently he could have played this. Okay. Bishop c1. Preparing to take the pawn. Okay, knight here. Thank god, a move that actually makes sense. Knight db5. We're still not taking this. Takes a3 again. If we go here, there's some rook discovery. Yeah. Both things are hanging. Okay, whatever. So that was a miss by him. And then this was a miss by me because I could have played this. Okay, but he just goes here. And then knight d5 is crushing. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, you know what? That makes sense. That makes sense. But I went for the pin first. And I should have just taken this. I knew it was a free pawn, but I liked this. And this was technically a little bit more accurate, but I liked going for tempo on the bishop. And I liked that he moved his bishop and it was just terrible. I win the pawn. This is a blunder. Oh, because it hangs the pawn. Oh my god, I hung so many pieces, bro. I just got so lucky. No, like, I'm actually so lucky. This is +3. I needed to play this, and it's a fork. Rook takes. Knight takes with check, and that's a triple fork. Almost drawing a swastika. You better be careful, chess.com. Yeah, I mean, this move was terrible. And then I just calculated the right sequence and got lucky. I mean, plain and simple, I got lucky. I don't think I deserve to win this game. I have no problem admitting that. But then, yeah, after this, it was pretty simple. Obviously, it's +5. I'm glad that I took a second to, like, chill out and think. Because I'm like, well, what's the best way to stop the pawns? Your rook wants to be behind the pawns, and you want to involve your pieces. So I went here, and thankfully he did this, which in my opinion, this should be called a blunder. Because now there's no way to defend this pawn. If I go here, which I did, you can't go here to defend the pawn because the knight is defending that square. So, it forces him to lose a pawn. And when it's just one pawn, you can do what I did and just sack one of your pieces for it and be up a piece and pawns against a bare king, and then that's a very simple endgame. Don't ask me why I did this with my rook. I was just like in pure shock that he was still playing. Yeah, just normal stuff. Yeah, this felt a little stupid playing that, like, queen c2. Bro, Justin is just so far in my head that I'm so scared to play queen c2 nowadays. Queen e7, f3. And then this just would have been such a solid and good position for me. Okay, but a5. I'm really doing the most here. This would have been his best continuation. Knight b6 hits a pawn. There's no bishop, so I could consider b3. Yeah, b3 is the only drawing move. A takes, rook takes, knight bd7. Just completely maneuvering to the king side, or the center. h3, only move that draws. Anyway. What I've started doing lately is I've gone through every game like twice. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but like I really think that it's beneficial just to kind of like comb back through and not look necessarily at the specific moves, but try to gather more of the ideas, like more of the big picture items that I'm missing. So obviously I should have seen c5 coming. It ended up being good for me that he did that, and I'm glad that I didn't freak out. And because like that's something that I would do in the past for sure, or I can't even say that, like that's something that I would do, is be like, oh, my king side's in shambles, like I'm losing, like oh my god, but I'm just like, no, like I win a pawn in the center, I'm just gonna do my best. Like I spent 20-30 seconds here figuring out which one was correct to take with. I chose wrong, but the only way that I chose wrong is if he plays this move, so I'm not going to discourage myself too much. But yeah, gathering some of the big ideas. I think some of the maneuvering and the defending of the e-pawn could have been a lot better from me in this game. That's definitely something that is a main game plan for black when they play this open King's Indian type of position, is the e-pawn can get very weak. So remembering queen c2, remembering f3, remembering bishop g5, all these ideas that we can have to concretely or tactically defend the pawn is helpful. God, it's just so natural to play this with it when it actually comes with a threat. I should have seen this move, you know, like no excuse there, obviously. Knight d5 is the best move here. Takes. Checkmate. See, little details that I missed before. This is the best move. I probably would have considered this move just because it looks so nice. Like, oh my god, it just looks so nice. But it does allow this trade in the center, which isn't great. Should have taken the free pawn. I was like, you know, I'm pushing pawns down the center of the board. You know, I missed that I hung this pawn. Obviously, there's no excuse for that. I think this move makes sense. What about this? Removing the defender. Takes. I mean, rook takes, though, right? Yeah, rook takes is the best move. Knight takes check. Rook takes, and we're up in exchange. So apparently that wins in exchange by force. And even here, taking with the rook is better. That just feels weird. Feels so much better to get a passed pawn. But like I said, actually, like I said, opening the c file when he controls c1, I think is definitely not great. I think that rook b8 was a very lazy move. He just had this move right away. Interesting. I don't know if I would have found that move. I think I probably would have played this and just been worse. I'm not gonna lie. So this was better. I just didn't like this for some reason. Yeah, it's better for him. That's why you had to find this move. There's a lot of tactics around the pawn. Then after takes, we have check. What? No, it's just +4. This position's already +4. Apparently this wins material by force. I mean, if you try to do anything else besides take the pawn, like, you're completely busted, so you have to take. Sorry. You have to take. But here, you can just trade, and then this is a draw. Because you trade the rooks. You trade the rooks, and then this is hanging. Here, 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 here. Oh, I thought my knight could go to that square. That's even worse for us then. Knight c7, only drawing move. Protecting the pawn. I mean, that makes sense. That's not like a hard move to find. e6, I should have looked for tactics, I guess. Rook takes. We can take this rook, and then we're just up in exchange. Still not simple to win, man. I'm telling you, like, positions like this, people resign all the time. It's not simple. Imbalanced endgames like this, when you're only up in exchange, it's so hard to win, man. And I didn't really even realize that until I sat down and played an over-the-board tournament where I was up in exchange, and the guy wouldn't quit. Oh my god, he wouldn't quit. And I had nothing but respect for him. It was crazy, but it was just like, it was like a 50-move situation where I had to just slowly improve until I could finally sack my rook for the knight to promote a pawn. And I'm like, I'm telling you, it says +5. That is not easy, man. But anyway, like I said, right after I played this move, it felt stupid. If I was him, I probably would have played this move. This is a miss. Oh, I hung the knight. Like, I'm actually just brain dead. I didn't even see that I hung the knight until right now. This check doesn't do anything. It just leads to a draw. So you go here, you take this, and then the rook is defended, so that, like, we don't even care. King f7. You can chase after this, but then the pawn hangs, so it doesn't exactly work. And you've let go of your draw. So now the best move is knight e6. technically forcing the pieces, dropping the pawn. Okay, no, this. Now it's saying -1, so whatever. Pushing the pawn was just bad. Here. Rook d6. I probably should have went for this, to be honest. If the king comes any closer, yeah. Well, okay. Gotta move the bishop. This is crazy. This is technically a draw. This is technically a draw. If you start pushing the pawn too far, though, you're gonna lose. And if you do stupid stuff like I do, you're gonna lose. Now you have to do this. And if he pushes again, then we can take, because now push, we can get behind the pawn. Wow, that's crazy. A2. Rook A3 here would be a mistake, because now we're in front of the pawn. He loses his pawns. So you can see just how fragile the positions are when they have two connected passed pawns like that. That's why I was saying that I thought that that one move should be technically considered a blunder, or at least a mistake. But the eval didn't swing enough. Man, I just did so much wrong in this game. Even here, this double check is the best move, technically, and even still, it's technically a draw. It was only because he blundered the rook that I was winning. And I almost didn't take the rook, if you guys recall. I almost didn't take the rook. Because I was just so surprised that, like, in my brain, just in my brain, he went here. Which apparently is, oh yeah, because there's this fork. So what would have been better? This? Even that doesn't make sense. Just here, I guess. But yeah, crazy. Crazy, some of these end games. Got lucky, kept the stick on the ice. Was able to pocket another win. Alright, guys. Well, if you made it this far in the video, thank you very much. I appreciate it very much, as always. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you're new around here. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow.